the dream that broke its maker. It began with a vision so bold it eclipsed everything around it, a dream powerful enough to ignite an industry, captivate millions, and elevate a single individual into the realm of legends. But the larger the dream grew, the smaller its creator became beneath its weight, until eventually, the dream consumed the very person who brought it to life. People admire visionaries for their ambition, their clarity, their relentless drive. But few see the hidden cost of carrying a dream too vast, too demanding, too unforgiving. And today, in a world where every leader is expected to reshape the future, this story reminds us that even the brightest vision can cast a devastating shadow. The reveal began in the early years, when the billionaire's idea seemed impossible. Critics dismissed it, investors declined. Even friends warned that chasing it would lead to ruin. Yet the dream refused to fade. It pulled the creator forward with a force that felt both exhilarating and terrifying. Every breakthrough brought validation. Every failure sharpened resolve. The billionaire built their empire one sleepless night at a time. As success grew, the world celebrated the innovation, the courage, the brilliance. But behind the scenes, something darker was forming, a dependency. The dream demanded constant attention, constant sacrifice, constant perfection. The billionaire became inseparable from the creation, unable to step away, unable to breathe without thinking of the next step, the next launch, the next evolution. At first, the cost was small: missed dinners, abandoned hobbies, friendships fading into distance. But then the stakes rose. Stress crept into every decision. Pressure replaced curiosity. Expectations in the world towered over the billionaire like a shadow they could never escape. The reveal sharpened when the dream crossed the threshold, shifting from creation to a force of its own. The company expanded. Global reach skyrocketed. Teams multiplied across continents. Yet instead of feeling triumph, the billionaire felt something slipping: control, identity, balance. The dream had grown stronger than its maker, and the first cracks in the billionaire's world began to form. The cracks widened with every new milestone the world celebrated. Each achievement, instead of bringing relief, deepened the pressure inside the billionaire's chest. The dream that once felt like a companion now loomed like an overseer, demanding more than any human could give. Every department needed confirmation. Every investor needed reassurance. Every headline carried the unspoken command to keep climbing, keep pushing, keep outperforming the impossible. The reveal intensified when internal teams began noticing the billionaire's growing strain. Decisions that used to come effortlessly now took hours. Meetings stretched late into the night. The once magnetic leader appeared distant, distracted, hollowed out by the weight of expectations. Some employees whispered that the company had outgrown its visionary. Others feared what might happen if the visionary finally broke. Pressure surged during a major product cycle. Delays mounted. Test results fluctuated. Engineers warned that pushing forward would compromise quality, but the billionaire insisted the launch could not slip. Not again. Not with the world watching. Their determination, once a strength, began mutating into desperation. A refusal to let the dream slow down, even as the foundation trembled. Then came the moment that shifted everything. A senior executive delivered a blunt report. The current pace was unsustainable. Burnout was spreading. Error rates were rising. Teams were collapsing under pressure that originated from one source: the billionaire's unwillingness to pause. It was a message meant to guide, but it struck like an accusation. The billionaire felt the words like a crack across the soul, confirming a fear they had long tried to silence. They had become the bottleneck to their own dream. Still, instead of slowing down, the billionaire pushed further. Nights blurred into mornings. Sleep vanished. Every waking moment became a scramble to keep the dream alive. Their health faltered. Relationships with key leaders strained. Trusted advisors urged a break, but the billionaire could hear only one voice: the dream's voice, whispering that stepping back meant failure. External pressure added fuel to the growing storm. Competitors accelerated their timelines. Media began speculating about the billionaire's exhaustion. Investors demanded proof that the visionary was still in control. The stress metastasized, stretching the billionaire thin across every responsibility, every decision, every impossible demand. The emotional toll reached its peak when a critical presentation, one meant to secure the company's next phase of global expansion, went disastrously off-script. The billionaire forgot key details. Their voice shook, their confidence cracked in front of partners who once viewed them as unstoppable. Rumors spread instantly. The visionary was losing control. Behind closed doors, the billionaire stared at their reflection, seeing a truth more painful than any public critique. The dream wasn't breaking. It was breaking them. And unless something changed soon, everything, the vision, the company, the legacy, would collapse under the weight of a dream too heavy to carry alone. The conflict erupted the moment the billionaire's breaking point became undeniable. After the failed presentation, senior leaders convened without the visionary, a quiet but unmistakable sign that confidence had fractured. Their discussions were tense, urgent, fearful. Some argued the billionaire needed rest. Others suggested transferring decision-making authority. A few whispered what once felt unthinkable. Perhaps the company had outgrown its founder. The billionaire sensed the shift immediately. Hallway conversations stopped when they passed. Emails became formal. Advisors spoke with cautious, measured tones. The dream that once united everyone had become a source of unease, its creator now seen as both essential and dangerous, a visionary losing grip on the world they built. The emotional toll deepened when doctors issued a warning the billionaire could no longer ignore. Exhaustion had begun affecting cognitive function. Stress levels were unsustainable. Continuing at this pace risked permanent damage. The billionaire listened, silent and unmoving, as if hearing someone else's diagnosis. How could they slow down when the dream demanded acceleration? How could they rest when the world expected brilliance? But the truth grew impossible to escape. The company's crisis reports painted a devastating picture. Error rates had doubled. Project timelines slipped. Departments lacked direction because the billionaire had centralized every decision. Not out of control, but out of fear that stepping back would unravel everything. The dream had become a cage, its bars forged from loyalty, ambition, and impossibly high expectations. Then came the breaking event. A major system failure occurred during a confidential pre-launch test. The malfunction was catastrophic, shutting down operations across multiple continents for hours. The financial loss was staggering, but the emotional impact was worse. Engineers admitted they had flagged risks weeks earlier, but leadership insisted the visionary wanted the project pushed forward. The implications settled over the company like a heavy fog. The billionaire's intensity had created blind spots that no one dared challenge. Confronted with this reality, the board demanded an emergency meeting. The billionaire entered the room already knowing what awaited them. Executives spoke in careful tones, presenting data that linked operational failures to the unsustainable pace. Advisors requested temporary delegation of authority. Legal teams urged structural adjustments to prevent future crises. And then came the moment that struck the hardest. A longtime colleague, someone who had stood beside the billionaire since the earliest days, looked across the table and said softly, "The dream isn't dying, but you are." The room fell silent. Those words pierced through layers of denial the billionaire had relied on for years. For the first time, they saw the dream not as a creation to be protected at any cost, but as a force that had demanded more than any one person could give. Memories washed over them. Nights spent alone in office corridors, family moments missed, health sacrificed, identity consumed. The visionary realized the cruel paradox of ambition. The greater the dream, the more it demands to be fed. And unless they made a change, a real, irreversible change, the dream would swallow everything it touched. The emotional peak intensified as the billionaire left the boardroom, knowing the next decision would redefine not only the company's future, but their own survival. The climax arrived in the quietest moment of the billionaire's life. No cameras, no boardroom, no crisis alarms ringing through the corridors. Just the visionary alone in their private office, staring at the dream that had once lifted them and now threatened to consume them. And for the first time, they asked a question they had avoided for years. What if the dream could grow without them? The answer came not from logic, but from exhaustion mixed with clarity. A realization that the dream did not need a single guardian anymore. It needed a team, a structure, a future built on collaboration rather than sacrifice. The billionaire felt the shift inside like a deep breath they hadn't taken in years. The next morning, they called an emergency all-hands meeting. Employees packed into the auditorium, unsure whether they were witnessing a resignation, a collapse, or another command to push forward. When the billionaire stepped onto the stage, the energy in the room tightened. Faces that once looked to them for certainty now searched for answers, direction, hope. The visionary delivered something different. They admitted the truth. The burnout, the pressure, the unsustainable pace, the tunnel vision that had harmed both the company and themselves. They spoke of ambition turning into obsession, of a dream that grew faster than one person could hold, of the human limits they had refused to acknowledge. And then, with a steadiness that stunned the entire room, they announced their decision. They were stepping back from day-to-day leadership, not as retreat, not as defeat, but as transformation. A new executive team would take operational control. Decisions would be distributed, not centralized. The dream would be protected by many, not carried by one. The billionaire would remain as visionary director, guiding long-term strategy while regaining the humanity they had lost in pursuit of perfection. Silence filled the room. Then came applause, hesitant at first, then rising like a wave. Not applause for power, not applause for brilliance, applause for honesty, for courage, for choosing to survive rather than crumble beneath the weight of success. The resolution unfolded slowly in the months that followed. With shared leadership, the company stabilized. Employees rediscovered balance. Innovation accelerated, freed from the bottleneck that once restricted it. And the billionaire, for the first time in years, felt the world soften. They reconnected with family, slept full nights, found joy in the dream again, not as its prisoner, but as its creator. And when the company unveiled its next breakthrough, built through collaboration rather than exhaustion, the billionaire stood at the edge of the crowd, watching with quiet pride, because the dream had not broken, it had evolved. So, what do you think? Are we repeating the same mistake again?